Hear that. Hopefully you can hear me now. I'm David. This is the Theatre of Arts open house on Zoom, as everything seems to be in 2021 as it was in 2020. I didn't even know what Zoom was until March of last year, and now we basically live on that. We are the oldest, longest running theatre school in Los Angeles, actually on the West Coast, but specifically Los Angeles, which is the epicenter of the entertainment industry. We have a fiercely modern outlook. This is our website. You can go on this website at any time, TOA.edu. Oh, look, you can see that it's all about our open house today. We update this regularly. We can tell you a little bit about what we do here. It's a 2-year acting conservatory. At the moment, like I said, we're online. We're actually usually in person, but at the moment, because of the pandemic, we're online. We do all the usual courses that you'd expect. You know, we've got acting, voice technique, movement technique, a lot of on-camera things. We're in Los Angeles, but we also have stage combat, motion capture, and we also have stand-up. And we're going to go through some of these things later on. Reese, why don't you bring up the sizzle reel, and then we'll try and I can see there's lots of people in the chat saying can't hear, so hopefully we'll try and rectify that one. Sorry about that. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's try the sizzle reel and see if we can see if you can see that. Just let us know and we'll try and sort this one out, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Reese. Thank you. You can see some of the things that we're doing there. We've got the courses. We've got some quite famous alumni. We also have spotlights. We've been having a lot of those recently on Zoom. Because of where we are geographically, we know a lot of people in the industry. That was Alexis Woodall, who was the president of Ryan Murphy, Blanca Lister. She's the VP for film acting, and oh, look, here we are. We've got some people. That's who's been through this term so far. Roger Nygaard, who is the editor on Beat. Cher Stalling, she's an executive at Universal, who can greenlight films. David Melville, he's the artistic director at the Independent Shakespeare Company, the biggest theater company in Los Angeles. Mil Toshirolamo, you might recognize him as an actor from Game of Thrones. Ray Seahorn, hopefully you recognize her. She's a great actor on Better Call Saul. And Mike Leahy is a producer of numerous movies. And they came in and they've been talking to us. We've got, where we go, Alexis Woodall, Stephen Moyer from True Blood. And people have been coming in, especially during the pandemic, and they're happy to come in and talk to us on Zoom. And we have these relationships, and we have this a deal now through some of these people who've come in, such as Blanca, that she actually, at Henson, we actually offer internships when you graduate. We offer 2 per term. So, and we're going to try and do the same at Universal now as well. So these are terrific people, and these are some of the relationships that we've got on. Let's just touch a little bit on the history of Theatre of Arts. We were set up during in 1927. For those who know their film history of Hollywood, that's just when the movies were going from moving into sound from the silent era, and it was decided that, hey, we better teach these guys how to walk and talk at the same time. And because of that, we had this, we've got some amazing alumni from the past, such as Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Clint Eastwood, probably the living legend from that era, Gregory Peck. It was set up, like I said, during the silent era by when it was just moving to sound. by Ben Bard. The school later on was taken over by Michael Chekhov, who some of you who know your history, he was one of the iconic teachers of the 20th century, who learned under Stanislavski, and it was also a relation of Anton Chekhov. And again, you can see all the alumni. We have some we have some recent successes as well, which we're very proud of. We've got a lot of our recent alumni. The last time we were in person, which was over a year ago, our graduation, 100% of our graduates got representation, which is very good. We actually had our first online showcase recently, and again, it was very successful. We could reach a bigger audience, and people got signed, which was terrific. Well, more about that later on, but I think I want to introduce to you now one of our faculty who actually teaches motion capture. Like all our faculty are actually working actors. This gentleman was actually last week, had to take the week off because he was working in motion capture, because that's what he does. Henry Layton. Let's see if we've got him here somewhere in the Zoom. I know we've had a few. There he is. Hello. Yeah, you can hear him, hopefully. Hey, David. Great. All right, Henry, I'll hand over to you and you can tell us what you do at Theatre of Arts. Thanks.
Before I do a full introduction, my name is Henry Layton. How you doing? Reese is our DJ, if you will. If you don't mind, Reese, do you have a little sizzle reel for the motion capture that we can show? Okay, thank you so much, Reese. So yes, my name is Henry Layton. I'm the stage combat instructor and the motion capture instructor at Theatre of Arts, Hollywood. Just a little bit about myself. I've been doing motion capture internationally for the last 20 years now. I first got started in Sweden with Universal Studios doing Chronicles of Riddick, the video game, and some for the movie. I was tons of people. I was tons of creatures. I was actually also Vin Diesel, if you can believe that or not. But that's one of the beautiful things about motion capture. You can be anyone or anything. So we started there, and then it sort of switched over to New York, where we started doing more motion capture and more video games there for a studio that's now known as Rockstar Video Games. And then it moved out to the West Coast, where I've worked with Disney and Sony, amongst other studios. I also did Steven Spielberg's TV show Falling Skies, where I played the aliens and all the creatures in that. But here at Theatre of Arts, I'll kind of tell you about what we do in the motion capture class. There's two different types of motion capture. One of that is optical motion capture. One of those is telemetry motion capture. With the optical motion capture, that's where you see in this video here, where we're surrounded by a bunch of cameras that have a bunch of red lights, red circle lights on the camera. That right there is my director who just plowed into me. I'll talk more about him a little bit later. His name is Zach Lowry. But then we move into what we're doing at TOA, and that's telemetry motion capture. Now with that, we don't have to have all these cameras that surround us. We actually, the technology is built into our suits, our motion capture suits. And so with that, we're able to take the data in real time, the data being, of course, your skeleton, your digital skeleton, and we can animate any character we want on top of that. And so when we're doing that, we do two different things. So imagine if you're playing a video game, there's two aspects to think about. One is in game. So if you're playing a game like, let's say, Call of Duty, and you're just walking down the street or hiding behind a car or turning left and turning right with a weapon or not, it's more the technical aspect of doing motion capture for a video game. And then we get to do the fun stuff. It's called in-game. With in-game, we get more liberties to make physical acting choices as actors. And what I teach you is how to move as that character. And it's more than just saying, I'm going to walk as a zombie. You have to learn how to walk with weight and a certain tempo and distance in your strides and those kind of things that you're seeing here in the video. And once we do that, we get those that data recorded or captured, those motions captured. And then we have to do what's called cleaning up the data. And we have a gentleman named Big Dave Matty, who's amazing. He's in this video somewhere here as well. I believe it's at the 120 mark on this, Reese, where once we get your data recorded, and we have over 600 characters, Big Dave, that you'll see here on the right, is where you'll see the digital skeleton that we animate our characters on top of. And Dave cleans up that data from anything from T-poses to actual walking or combat and violence, explosions, that kind of deal. And what we do is we're able to put you inside an actual live video game. With that, we have, I said over 600. We've got more now. There's Big Dave, of course. And with that, you can do anything from Batman to Wonder Woman to Tyrannosaurus Rex. You could be a ghost. You could be a sandstorm. It's limitless when it comes to the capabilities of doing motion capture for that. And Reese, if you don't mind, oh, good, you've already at that point. This is sort of our final product. I'll let you guys watch this, and then I'll tell you a little bit about that after. And as you can see here, the student is in our studio, or volume, if you will. The volume is the space where we perform motion capture. But in real time, this actor is inside the video game as she's performing. And you'll notice that she's pretty much in sync with our reference camera that's in the background. And we animate all of this, including the environments that you're in. That's the great thing about motion capture as well. You don't have to build sets, you build an environment. And we've done stuff on Mars, we've done stuff on the, abandoned warehouses like you're seeing here. And we can create any weapons or any characters that we need to with that. And so what's exciting about this, once you come to Theater of Arts, and you take the motion capture classes after your movement classes and combat classes, you'll get this footage. And the reason that's important to us and what we're really excited about is that when you go out for that audition, when you are trying to interview to get a motion capture job, you're actually being put above all the other actors who are competing to get that motion capture job, because the studio and the producers and the casting director and the directors, they already know they don't have to teach you how to do motion capture. Once you graduate and you have that ability, you're a huge commodity to those studios, because we don't want you to just get hired for one day and then say you're a motion capture performer. We want you to get the job after job after job after job, so you actually have a career in motion capture. Now, one of the things I was going to tell you about, the little announcement we're going to make here, the gentleman that you saw in my video that was pretty much running me over, plowing me into the pads, his name is Zach Lowry. Zach Lowry is the lead art director, lead art producer for a video game called Fortnite. He works with Epic Games. It also has Unreal Engine. And they just come out with a new thing called MetaHuman, and it's the most realistic and most advanced technology in the world right now. And we're very blessed that they have agreed as of this week that they will now work in collaboration with Theater of Arts. So we can do a virtual reality play like we did last year. As a play on our website, you can go to click on it. It's called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And we did that virtual play live. It's the only play that's ever been done like that before. But now we have the new technology where we can do the motion capture and the VR at the same time in collaboration and coordination with the same technicians and animators and producers and directors that are doing Fortnite. And it's just a collaboration we couldn't be more happy about, because they have the greatest technology on planet Earth and some of the best animators in the world. And they're going to be working with us and teaching us how to do it just like they do it. Now, here's the thing. There's, besides motion capture, there's something else called performance capture. Motion capture is just for the body. Performance capture incorporates the voice and your facial capture, which is what the MetaHuman technology from Fortnite is giving to us now. So we actually have a faculty member here who's actually done this experience, had this experience before. His name's Alex Feldman. And Alex, you've seen him in movies, you've seen him in TV shows, but he's pretty much the hardest working actor in Los Angeles. He's always on set, and he's so good at what he does. He's actually been hired to do motion capture and facial capture, performance capture, for a little game called Call of Duty. Alex, if you don't mind, could you speak to us about that a little bit?
Sure, Henry. Thanks. Thanks for that intro too. Yes, I was very happy and very lucky to be part of the Call of Duty franchise, and I played a character in that video game that involved full-on scenes, full-on interactive scenes with lots of actors. And I had this helmet that you see that in the picture on. And I just wanted to reiterate what you were talking about, Henry, because in my experience, there were people on set who were very skilled in stunts and combat, and then there were other people who were very skilled in acting and performance. And I have training in both, and both skill sets were very much called upon, because there were scenes that we did which were in large studios with cameras all around, and the director's voice is directing you. And some of the most emotional scenes between me and other actors had to be at a distance. So I might be facing completely away from the actor because that's where the cameras are, but still interacting with them and still having kind of the emotional connection to them while doing the stunts and separated from that voiceover. So my discovery and my experience was that having training in voiceover, motion capture, and just traditional acting training makes you very valuable for this type of work. And there are not a lot of people out there who are skilled in all of those disciplines. So the stuff that you're teaching at TOA is incredibly valuable. I can assure you from experience. So thank you, Henry.
Yeah. No, thank you, Alex. And he's right. I mean, for example, you know, I'm not just a stuntman, even though I went to stunt school almost 25 years ago. Good Lord, it's been a long time. But my undergraduate degree is in dancing, and my MFA is in acting. So you have to be very versatile, and that's one of the things that TOA provides you when you come here. You get all of that, including the voiceover. And just one last thing to say about the motion capture that we're really excited about. There's a movie you've probably heard of called Avatar, directed by James Cameron, and a TV show called The Mandalorian. The reason Avatar is important is because right now they're making Avatar 2, 3, and 4 as we speak. They're finished with most of it, actually. But for 10 years, they couldn't make it. James Cameron wanted 80% of the movie to happen underwater. And because of that, he couldn't beat the science of the cameras capturing the markers on our suits and that kind of thing. So he finally found a way called telemetry motion capture. And what's great about that, what TOA is doing, is we're using the exact same suits, the exact same technology, the exact same software that they're using for James Cameron's Avatar 2, 3, and 4, and the same as Disney's The Mandalorian. They're using our same suits, they're using our same techniques. So when you're going to come to TOA and you learn these techniques from motion capture and voiceover and performance capture, acting for video games as well, you're going to graduate going already into a field that's using the most advanced technology that you're taught at Theater of Arts. So yeah, I think we're going to have a Q&A later. So if you have more questions about that, feel free to ask. And David, I guess I'll turn this back over to you, sir.
Thank you, Henry. Really appreciate it. Like I said, Henry's already mentioned the virtual reality play. We left it up on the website, so you can still see it. It was live on the night, and it was extraordinary. A journalist reached out to me and said, "Are you really doing this live?" Because no one else has done that. So we're really proud about the fact that we did that, and that we're trying to build on that success. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you can just click on that. After this, click on that and watch that. It was just great. We're very proud of that, and Henry did an amazing job pulling that together. And I want to talk about the fact that we are an accredited theatre school. We're accredited by NAST, which is quite important for you guys to know, and that's all on our website, so you can check us out. It does mean as well that you can get financial aid, and we're very lucky that we've got our financial aid officers here today. So if you've got any questions, save those for the end, and we will introduce you to Norma, who is an expert on these matters. And with that said, I should really introduce you to another faculty member who is our resident voiceover instructor, who is very successful in her own right. We call her Wonder Woman because she plays Wonder Woman in a certain game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rachel Kimsey. Hopefully she's here. I think there she is.
Hello.
With child.
Sometimes this is the reality of how things go.
This is 2021. That's what happens.
We are all doing our best, and it's one of the great things about the technology we have for the school is that whatever your circumstances are, you can still get the training that you need.
We'll roll with it. All right, Rachel. I'll hand over to you and your better partner.
Well, Reese, why don't we jump in? We're going to cover over the course of our voiceover training, we're going to cover animation. We're going to cover interactive, which covers video games and a lot of other broad parts of that scope. We are going to cover a little bit of how you'd prepare a motion capture audition, and we'll also cover commercials. We're going to talk about audiobooks. We're going to talk about promo. We're going to talk about trailers. There's so much in the world of voiceover that is now available to actors because the technology bar is lower to enter. There was a long time where you had to have thousands of dollars of equipment, and you had to have a studio, you had to be at a certain financial investment to get started, and that's not the case anymore. So we're going to start training you in all the things that you need to know to be able to start working right away. Reese, can you throw up a little bit of Justice League for us? All right. So one of the things that hopefully you can take away from this, other than it's a dream come true to get to be a cartoon, it's the thing I always dreamed of and imagined, and I actually got to do in my career, is that it's not all about funny voices. Did you hear anybody in there doing some crazy, wacky voice? No, those are actors who are well-trained, who are grounded, and we are going to practice that. We're going to practice finding the tools that you already have. Maybe you've been working on voices your whole life. Maybe you're that guy. Amazing. We can use that tool too. But you don't have to have 11 voices under your belt to be able to do amazing work in the world of voiceover. You can start from where you are with the voice you have, the training that you have, and do great work. I think you heard about 6 different actors in there, and not one of them was doing anything super wacky. And we all were living our dream of being a superhero and playing in the world that we all imagined when we were kids. When we're studying voiceover, when we're studying animation in particular, we'll talk about how you can interpret a script, about how you can look at what they're describing a character to be and know what it is that they need so that you can be specific in your preparation, okay? Now, the next place that we imagine a lot of times when we think of voiceover is where a lot of us go to play. It makes more money than all of the other parts of entertainment combined, including sports, film, television, theater, sports, all of them pale in comparison to video games. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and guess that a lot of you out there probably play some kind of games, whether it's on your phone. There are voices in those mobile devices that you may not recognize, right? That sheep that walks by in the game and goes, "Rah, rah," that's a voice actor. That's somebody's job, right? Then we scale up to the characters where you're hearing their voices and they're coming into your ear and they're giving you guidance in a game. And we scale all the way up to motion capture and performance capture, where actors are on the volume, like Henry talked about, doing the work with their face and their voice and their body and marrying all those things together. Can we see a little bit of Call of Duty, Reese? We'll just throw a little bit up. Okay. This was such an exciting job for me because every quality that at some point somebody had told me was a liability in my acting career was a feature in this one. I'd been told I was too tall, I was too strong, my face moved too much, my voice was too deep, all kinds of things that for whatever reason ruled me out in one place or another. And every single one of them was the reason I got that job. I had stunt training, I had firearms training, I was prepared with the language of military operators, and all of that meant that on day one, I was more ready to go to work than anyone else they might have chosen. So I was the one they picked. That's the kind of work that we can do together. You'll work with Henry on your action and the volume. You'll work with me on your lingo and the ability to craft a really clear persona with some of these characters instead of just a soldier, right? Something that's really specific. You'll work with Alex and the other great teachers on how to be a grounded, centered actor. And then when we bring it all together, you might have the opportunity to put something like that up and have your mom call you and say, well, why did they change your eyes to brown? I don't understand. Mothers are never quite going to be happy with your career. Just something to know. But all of my training, I studied in theater, I studied for film, I've worked across the board. All of that came to the forefront there and made it all possible to do together. I've worked on, I think, 6 different Call of Duties, doing, might be 7, doing voice work, motion capture, and performance capture. Not all of them on every one, right? Some on each. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, because once a group like that knows that you can show up and do the job, they keep calling, right? There are all kinds of franchises like that that can come back. So getting the training in the different quadrants that you need so that you can be a reliable, steady performer who's prepared on day one is what's going to make the difference, not just for that job, but for the jobs in the future. Now, the truth is, those are the sexy things, right? Animation, gaming, those are the things that are really fun. But do any of you listen to podcasts? Do any of you listen to audiobooks? Those are great jobs. Those are even union jobs now, where you can get paid, you can get health benefits, you can start building out your career. And the really exciting part is the industry standard for that work is to be doing it at home in your own setup on your own. So there's no bar to entry for you to get started beyond being a prepared, trained, ready actor. Now there's one more category that is the biggest, broadest category that hits everything, that your unique voice, the languages you might speak, the life experience that you bring, maybe the day job that you've been carrying so you understand something about a different business, really comes to the forefront and is a specialty for everyone, and that is commercial. It's the broadest, most open category. It's where everyone gets started. And so we'll spend time working on that, honing our understanding of how marketing works, learning how to read specs and sides, and learning how to give, there you go, learning how to give your best work and tell a whole story in only 15 seconds. Can we see a little McDonald's, Reese? Now, here's something exciting about commercial acting. Commercial acting, exciting? Let me tell you what's exciting about it. Every actor in that commercial was a paid union actor, and they get paid what's called residuals. Every time it airs, you get just a little bit more money, which is kind of how you keep yourself going as an actor every time. Now, here's the fun thing. As a voice actor, I also got paid for recording it that day. And I also get paid for each time that it airs, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. But I also got to go back in and record a special price for Hawaii, a special price for Alaska, a special price for the summer, a special price for the East Coast, right? As a voice actor, you get to keep coming back over and over again in a way that even the on-camera actors don't. It is the gift that keeps on giving. It doesn't matter if you are young or old. I did 2 video games in a cast up to my hip. Guess what? Nobody was hiring me to show up on a set in a cast up to my hip. Your mother was right, riding motorcycles is dangerous. But I got to do 2 video games sitting in a chair with a cast up to my hip. There's something really special about this work. June Foray won an Emmy Award at 92 because she was still working every day. You can tell I love this work. I have found this to be some of the most rewarding, creative, inspiring work that I've done in my career. And I've worked all over the world. I've worked in film, television, and theater, and I love all of it. But right now, this is some of the most exciting stuff out there. And during the pandemic, it's the only part of the acting industry that didn't slow down and in fact did pick up. And I am excited to meet you here, where you are, get you the training so that you are ready to jump right into this work if it's something that's interesting to you, to build on your ability to read and understand what these specs and sides are so that you go in with a bigger understanding of how it all connects together. And then you might just get lucky enough to come play with me and Alex and Henry and tie it all together on a volume. Little teaser for the future. Come get trained, come get ready, come join us.
Thank you, Rachel. I didn't realize you did the McDonald's. I actually did Burger King. Best day's work I ever did. Yeah.
So good, right?
Oh, I'm vegan, but I didn't care. I took the money.
I'll tell you, absolutely.
I could justify it. You're going to give me that much money? I'll take it for a day's work.
I mean, somebody's gonna buy it. Might as well be me telling them about it, right?
Right. Yeah, I lied on that. Yeah, of course I eat meat. All right, thanks so much, Rachel. Really appreciate that. That was great, and nice that there was 2 of you there. So just before we move on, I just want to say a little bit about the GI Bill, because we have a lot of vets come through Theatre of Arts. They've done great. I'm really proud of the vets that we have come through here. So we do support that. I've seen people get just so much better, and some of the best graduates we have actually come through via the GI Bill. So if you are one of those people, yep, you are most welcome. And I should have said at the start, anybody who applies today, and this is across the board, there is a $500 scholarship for coming for today's open house. And I can see that there's like 30 or so people here. So if any of you apply and you get in, that will be applied across the board. All right, I want to move on to another faculty member. You've already seen him once, and you've probably seen him a lot more than that on your TV screens and movie screens over the years. He's a very successful working actor in Los Angeles and across the world, and he's the head of on camera here at Theatre of Arts. It's Alex Feldman. Hopefully, if we can get, there it is, we've got him. All right, I will disappear.
Hi there. Thank you very much for that intro. My name is Alex Feldman, and I'm the chair of the on-camera department at Theater of Arts. As David mentioned in our intro earlier in the webinar, our school is very deeply rooted in a tradition of theater, which is a fantastic foundation for actors. We teach voice and movement and all the comprehensive and all-inclusive elements of acting craft. But we are located in Los Angeles, right in the heart of Los Angeles, and we understand that most of our graduates are going to go on to work in film, television, and new media. And so the focus of our performance shifts heavily toward on-camera work. And I am the chair of the on-camera department at Theater of Arts, which means that together with the other on-camera instructors, I write the curriculum for the program and make sure that as your educational experience progresses, you are stepping out of one term and into the next, learning new skills. And by the time you are ready to graduate, you are ready to be on set. You are a hireable actor. So we start off with on-camera fundamentals, in which we introduce actors to the different terminology that's used on set, to all the different departments that work to make one film or TV show project, and the actor's responsibility to all those departments. Most film and TV show experiences are not shot in the order in which they're written. They're shot in little segments and pieces based on what the camera requirements are. So different camera framing, different camera styles, different styles of the director that might be working on a project. So in fundamentals, we really break down how your performance can stay truthful and organic and exciting while still giving the camera department what they need. So we actually have a scene from one of our classes with 2 students, which I'd like to just kind of show you and walk you through it, because even in a small scene such as this one, there's still about 6 or 7 different cuts with 6 or 7 different shots, and the actors have to make slight adjustments and have an awareness of where the camera is and what frame they're in. So I'll just walk you through this one as Reese plays it for us, and then we'll move forward. So you can see 2 actors here in what's called a 2-shot, meaning 2 people are in a shot. This is a comedic scene that they're working on. And as the scene moves on, it cuts to an over-the-shoulder single medium, and you can see this actress going in and out of her light. She's not only aware of her camera, but where the lighting is as well. Then it cuts soon here to what's called an extreme close-up, which requires incredible stillness. And here's an over-the-shoulder close-up. We're going to have a couple of other cuts that have comedic elements coming up. Here's another extreme close-up. You can see the actress on the left of your screen, how still she is. She can't move at all in a frame like this. And here's another comedic 2-shot. And another. So as you can see, thank you for that, Reese. As you can see, even in a simple scene like this done in class, there are still at least 5 different camera angles. And the actors, by the time they're out of on-camera fundamentals, they have a great awareness of how to work with the camera and how to give the director and the cinematographer and certainly the editor the materials they need to put together a strong scene. After on-camera fundamentals, actors go on to other more advanced on-camera classes where they do much more in-depth scenes. They become aware of how to carry a role with a character arc from beginning to end through the whole entire filmmaking process. And as you get closer to completing your 2-year conservatory training, we teach actors how to create their own content. This day and age, actors are expected to know how to deliver a performance and put together a project themselves. And there's so many opportunities these days for actors to create something on their own. Educated actors can create things on their own and build a career for themselves through YouTube and a ton of other outlets that now exist. So we have classes such as demo reel class, industry prep class that teach actors how to begin their career. And as we are currently in this COVID pandemic quarantine situation, our industry, the filmmaking industry, the entertainment industry, has very quickly adjusted and has set new standards for how things are done. And our school, I'm very proud to say, has also made those adjustments in real time, in part because most of our, or all of our instructors are working filmmakers or actors. And so we have our hand on the pulse of how the industry is changing and evolving. So for example, our audition technique class had pretty much immediately, when the quarantine started, adjusted and turned into a self-tape technique class. So a lot of the students that we currently have are very well versed and well skilled in how to put together a self-tape audition and do it properly with the proper lighting and camera, and know how to handle themselves creating something from home. So coming to theater of arts, an actor should expect to get a grounded foundation, but also come out the other end being ready to work, be a hireable actor, a collaborative actor, an actor who knows how all the different departments on set work, how to communicate with them, how to create your own content, and how to keep an eye on a strategy for your own career. I know we will have a Q&A coming up later, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions about the on-camera department or anything about the school in general. But for now, I'll turn it back over to David. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Really appreciate that. Okay, we've got one more faculty member that I'm going to introduce you to in a second. But first of all, I just want to say that international, I don't know if we have any people from around the world here today, but if you are international, you're i.e. non-American, you are most welcome at the Theatre of Arts. Here we offer the F1 visa. What that means is that you're here for the 2 years in the conservatory. You also get a third year on the visa where you can work in the United States, but you have to work within the industry. So effectively, it's a 3-year visa if you come here to the Theatre of Arts. And with that said, let's move on to our final faculty member who teaches stand-up comedy. And that, of course, is me. I am a stand-up comedian in, I don't know if you remember way back when we used to be able to go outdoors and actually perform. I perform all over the United States of America. I headline and usually I'm on the road in between working here, but that isn't happening at the moment. But I tell you what, Reese, why don't we just bring up, I'll tell you why we do stand-up comedy at the Theatre of Arts, is that we realize that it's a way of getting employed. On the final day of your time at Theatre of Arts, in normal times, you get your degree in the afternoon, and in the evening, you get your first paid job at the Comedy Store in front of a sellout audience. And that is where we find a lot of the casting directors, a lot of the agents, a lot of the managers all hang out looking for new talent. And it's a way of getting work. Reese, can you just bring up the sizzle reel? I know that some of you can't hear it. Sorry about that. Some of you can. We'll try. What we do there is we have, that was at our theatre, and once a month, like I say, in times when there's no COVID around, we actually have a monthly comedy show. And for that, we invite headliners. And I hold back 2 spots for alumni. So they've got to go toe to toe with the headliners. And it's been a huge success because headliners, they love to play theatres because we're always playing in clubs and casinos. It's nice to play a theatre where people actually want to listen to us and aren't being distracted by the getting their drinks in. And the students have done incredibly well from that. And just to show how your life can change, actually, I should introduce you to a student before I show you how your life can change. There was one student, and because anybody can be funny, I promise you that, because comedy really is just structure. There is a science to how we make a joke work. There was a student called Martha who said to me at the start of her course, said, there's no way I can do stand-up comedy. I just want to let you know, it's not you. I'm just not funny. I'm never going to be able to do it. I hope most of you can hear this. Reese, can we just show her first time on stage doing stand-up? Because I thought it was just great. We'll just watch the first 30 seconds. Thanks, Reese. I think just wanting to show is like how comfortable she was by the time she got on there. She was eliciting laughter, which we worked out. Within that 30 seconds, she had 3 laughs. And that's what I'm going to try and do for you when I'm teaching you, is to make sure that you know exactly where your laugh points are, that you'll be comfortable. And I said earlier on, stand-up comedy can change your life as an actor. And here's a good example. We had a guy came through and he filmed his set at our place, at the Arena Theatre of Arts, called Samba Shoot. And do you want to bring a little bit of it up, Reese, if you've got it there? And in the audience was some executives from NBC, and a few weeks later he had an audition at NBC, and then he got a sitcom at NBC, and the rest is history. Here we are. There you go. He was in this show called Sunnyside. Reese, I don't know if you can do it, but if we could bring up a tiny little bit of his set that he was doing that night, just to show you how these things happen. We're a show town in Los Angeles. Thanks, Reese. Yeah, from that set, his life changed because somebody saw him in there. He was also in the latest Star Wars film as well, and he's had a great career in the last 2 years. I noticed that he was filming something last week where he was set on fire in this TV show. Fantastic. He's done really, really well at that. Most comedians we know are pretty good actors. There was actually a documentary made about us teaching stand-up at the Theatre of Arts. Reese, I wonder if you could show the trailer of 8 weeks to 6 minutes, which is currently on Amazon. You can watch the whole documentary on Amazon. We'll show you a little bit about it. You can watch that video on Amazon Prime free right now if you've got Amazon. And Antonio, he's had a pretty good career since then. He's done stand-up all over the West Coast of the United States. He actually opened for me in San Francisco one night in front of a full audience, and I just thought, wow, this guy has come a long way, because he really struggled at the start. And as you can see, he got there. I also want to say, like, what stand-up leads to. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to spend your whole life being on stage telling jokes, although that's not a bad way of making a living. I also, during the pandemic, you know, I was approached saying, well, you can't go on tour. Can you help punch up some scripts, and can you write some movies for us? And I managed to get a 3-picture deal. In fact, Reese, should we just show the trailer for one of them, which was shot in the UK last August? I couldn't get over for it, but I wrote the script for them, and they got major stars involved. And I've got another movie, which I'll tell you about in a second. Thanks, Reese. As you can see, it's a Christmas movie. So guess what? That'll be out at Christmas in cinemas later in the year. I'm working on another movie at the moment. There's some great stars in there, like John Cleese, Kelsey Grammer, Liz Hurley, Chris Marshall. They're all basically got a comedy background. And it was great having to write jokes for those actors. And they specifically came after me because I had a background in stand-up and said, can you write this script about this subject? And on the back of that, I got 2 more movies, and they're shooting the next one, another movie in the Caribbean. I can't say who's in that, but some pretty big stars. And it's incredible because I see what the film companies are doing these days. They're trying to, avoid COVID. So they've gone somewhere where they can actually shoot movies, and the Caribbean at the moment is COVID free. So they've managed to get all the stars over to that one. Anyway, enough about me in comedy and my career. I would like to bring back the whole panel, and I want to give you an opportunity to ask us questions. I also want to introduce Norma, who is our financial aid officer, because I can see that there's already some questions there about how much does it cost, about financial aid. Perhaps we should start with you, Norma. If you can just tell us a little bit about how financial aid works for those who are asking. And someone was asking how much it costs to be a student at the Theatre of Arts.
Yeah. My name is Norma Celis. I am the financial aid officer for Theatre of Arts. We do offer financial aid, which is Pell Grant, federal student loans, federal plus loan. We also just got approved for Cal Grant B and Cal Grant C. So that's a big deal for most of our students because it's extra funding that it's free, and that helps a lot. We're also cover most of our chapters, including for VA, including dependent students for VA as well. The cost for the program, it's $39,996, but that's not including the open house scholarship and the 10% discount.
Yeah, I should say we've got a 10% discount at the moment because we're online. We're not actually in person. So while we're online, enjoy the 10% discount, enjoy the cheap rent wherever you live. I mean, we've got people who live at the moment who I've never met because of this predicament, who are in Canada, who are in New York, who are in Massachusetts, because we're doing it all online. So that is possible right now. And then when we open up, we have a deal with United Airlines. So you can get discounts flying into wherever you are in the country, so you can fly in. And we also have a deal with co-living and with Upstart so that we can get you cheap housing in Los Angeles. Los Angeles can be expensive compared to a lot of America, not compared to London where I'm from, but compared to the rest of America, it's very expensive. But we've managed to secure some very good deals in the last few months. Because of the pandemic as well, it's awful in one way that a lot of those apartment buildings are empty, but they want to fill them, and we can help you out with that. Reese, do you want to join us as well? Reese is our DJ, but he's also an alumni at TOA. And then and then Reese can tell us if we've got any other questions. I think we've already answered the one about how much it costs. And if people have any questions, maybe you and John, if John wants to come in as well, can tell us what questions we have.
Yeah, I see there are about, let's see, 6 open ones. Some of them were already answered. Let's see, Haley Edwards, she says, how much does previous experience in acting affect the chances of being accepted into Theater of Arts?
Okay, that's a very good question. When your final stage of getting into Theatre of Arts is you've got to get past the Director of Education in audition, and that person is me. So, get very scared. What I'm looking for is people who are passionate and who can take direction. And I feel if you can do those two things, if you are passionate about acting and you can take direction, I think we can do the rest. We will get you through it because we know that you are teachable. Sometimes I have an issue where people have almost too much experience and they've learned too many bad habits. And I can see in the audition, I'm trying to break them up a bit and go, and they go, oh no, this is how I always do it because I was taught this at high school. So sometimes it's kind of surprising that somebody with less experience will come into an audition and I will get them further along because I always give them a redirect just to see if they can be taught, basically, because that's what we're doing here is we're training actors. So we've got people who have come in with very little experience, and sometimes people come in with a lot of experience. What I notice, and from working here over the years, I see people just getting better and better and better over the 2 years. And sometimes the people with the most experience, they get overtaken because they're resting on their laurels a little bit. So I'm really looking for, like I said, passion and people who can listen, because then we can help you, because people genuinely do get better over the 2 years. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, so we also have another question from Jax Malcolm. Are in-person classes happening?
Right now, they're not, I'm afraid. They will happen. I can't give a specific date. I keep saying, oh, it's going to be next term, and then it's the term after because of what's been going on with COVID. I mean, right now, if I was to guess, I think we're going to have to start the May term online. It's not down to us, it's down to the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles. I would have thought that we'd have to start the May term online. I'm hoping that during that semester that we can start moving it back into being in-person classes, but we're not alone. I can't think of a theatre school that could offer in-person classes right now, certainly on the West Coast, but I would have thought that over the whole of North America.
Okay, awesome. Haley Edwards had another question. How would the classes for on-camera acting, motion capture, and overall physical acting work since it's not in person for the time being?
Well, luckily I've got some experts here who can answer that.
I would say for the on-camera, I'm sorry, Henry, for the on-camera classes, surprisingly, it's not vastly different from being in person. The classes are kept pretty small, and so each student gets a lot of attention, and there are assignments and exercises that are assigned for you to record, whether it be as simple as on your phone, or if you have a different camera, to then be reviewed by the instructor and discussed in class. And also the reality is that all of your auditions right now for professional actors are happening from home. Since the quarantine started, I've had several guest starring appearances on TV shows as well as some films, and all of them, I auditioned for them like this, with my own camera from home. And that skill of being able to deliver performance from home is kind of what we focus on. And certainly once you do get on set, you will be ready because of the exercises you're doing in classes. So it was a really pleasant surprise to discover when we all went online that what we were teaching people via Zoom and things like that is not all that different from what we do in person, and it's been a beautiful thing to take advantage of. And Henry, what about your classes?
Yeah, I make video demonstrations for everything. Reese, are you able to bring one of those up? Maybe the idle turns. So what we did is we had to get real creative, being in the pandemic and quarantine. So I made sure that I recorded myself doing everything we would do in motion capture personally, and then I send that to my students and have that become their assignment. They have to learn how to do that within their own bodies. And I think we can show this here to you. So what we're starting off with in the beginning levels is in game. So we have to set our marks, and when you're doing motion capture, you have to hit these marks without looking down, and you have to do them in character. And so one of the ways we figured out how to do this is basically bring the volume, which is the space in which we perform motion capture, to the homes, apartments of all the students at Theater of Arts. So what I have the students do is what you're seeing right here is set marks that they have to hit with their footwork, with weapons and unarmed. And we do that when you turn into the left or to the right. And we also have to do this with walking forward, walking sideways, as if you're in a game like Alex was with Call of Duty, walking down the street with weapons and turning, because every motion has to be captured. Some of this right here is how we demonstrate that. Now, this is just the beginning level stuff that I do at the beginning of the term. There are other videos and demonstrations I've made for the students when it comes to more character creation, such as zombies and creatures and things like that. But that's how we tackled this. And so far, it's been very successful.
Terrific, thank you.
Awesome. We have a question from Christopher. How supportive are you for working actors? Many schools and conservatives don't want you auditioning or working until you've completed their programs.
That's a good question. We had Andre Pelzer, a recent graduate, and he turned up on day one, already had his SAG card, but said, look, I still feel like I need training. I think while he was actually at the school, he was shooting Hawaii 5-0. I mean, I think the most important thing, I mean, I've got some actors here in this Zoom, the most important thing about acting is employment. I'm never gonna knock that. If you can, I mean, I think the advice I would give to people is always best foot forward. You want to leave, you're better off like leaving no impression than a bad impression. So I think there will be a moment in your career at the TOA where we go, I wouldn't do it yet, because you don't want to be out there when you're not ready, because then you're going to have to spend a few years trying to get people to forget who you are, basically. But if you're a working actor and you still feel like you need to go through training, you want to get better, and you've already got all that in line, then yeah, we'll help you out. We will support you within reason. We've got all the time I get requests like that going, look, I need to take next week off because I've got a week of filming. I get that from the faculty, and I get from occasional students. I always support it because I think working for a living as an actor, I don't think you can beat that. You know, we're here to help you work as a living, so I don't want to get in the way of that, basically.
Awesome.
All right, next question.
Here's a question from Catherine Vickers. She says, hi, I won the raffle on Actors Pro Expo, so I have auditions the following week ahead. Is there any advice you could give me for these auditions, please?
Oh, you've got an audition, or are you auditing? I mean, I think the audition, when you come to the audition, at the moment, it's just me, right? Because it's Zoom. I want to see a dramatic monologue, and I want to see a comedic monologue, and I'm going to give you a redirect. I might even ask you to do it in your own lines eventually. I just want you to be prepared. I want you to give me an honest performance. That's all I'm looking for. Is it believable? I want to know who you're talking to, or the actor knows who they're talking to, and it's an honest performance. And I want you to be flexible. If I give you a redirect, that you can take that, because then I know that I can teach you, and not only if I can teach you, then I know the faculty can teach you. Then we can do something with you. Well done on the raffle. I think that means you're auditing some classes as well. When you're auditing the classes, that's in the first term, and then some of those I think say hello to the faculty, whoever the instructor, and then you're just sitting and watching, unless they invite you to be part of the class, because we're already midway through the term on that. Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Yeah, awesome. Here's an anonymous attendee. Is there on-campus employment for international students? What financial help do international students get?
That's tricky. Well, right now we're not on campus, right? So we do, I mean, like Reese, I know you're not international, but is a former student. We do employ former students. Financial help, that is difficult, right? I know because I'm international. You might have heard my accent. You really want to come here with your finances sorted out. There are things that you can, because legally, you're not allowed to work while you're a student if you're from outside the United States. And even in that third year, the work you get has to be within the industry. Look, I know there are ways around, and I'm not going to go into that. That's up to you, and I don't want to know about it. But the help you need to get before you get here, really. I would set yourself up as well as you can. All right. We're open to talk. If you want advice, send us an email. We're open to discuss that.
All right. Let me see. How long is the semester from Trapper Bishop?
12 weeks. We have 6 semesters, and they're all 12 weeks long. So it's a 2-year course.
How or who would I contact about housing and finance? And what do we do to audition? This is all from the same person, Nash Saint Amand.
Okay, I think what you want to do is you want to go onto our website and actually apply. It sounds like you're ready to apply. If you're ready to apply and you apply today because of this open house, remember to let us know, and you'll get a $500 scholarship as well if you get in. So I would apply, and then we can help you out. We have people who can help you out with housing, and we can help you, and Norma will help you out with financial aid. It sounds like you need to go on the website, TOA.edu, and hopefully I'll be meeting you in a few weeks' time. Our next semester starts in May, and then the one after that is September. We have 3, we enroll 3 times a year, January, May, and September. And someone's applied today. I'm very excited. Excellent. I look forward to seeing you.
And we have an Ashley Caspar. She seems to be a big Frozen 3 fan. And unfortunately, Rachel had to leave early. Okay. But she really wants to know what steps could she take to be the voice of Elsa?
Go to school. I would say go to school.
Come to the Theatre of Arts and we'll tell you.
That's probably the best answer.
Keep your dream alive, though. Keep your dream alive no matter what.
Yeah. Aim big. I mean, what's great about the Theatre of Arts is you do get to meet people, and sometimes that can help, and but sometimes you can, because you're so close to it, it seems like it's easy. It's not. I mean, that's what I love about the Comedy Store when we're there, is it in the car park, you meet people. There was a student who said, I just want to do Judd Apatow films. And I thought, yeah, try telling your agent that. And then when we were at the Comedy Store, we're sitting in the green room, and Judd Apatow comes down and sits on the same sofa and says, I'm working through a joke. And then he asked the girl, because he said, is this all right from a female perspective? And I thought, my word, Judd Apatow is asking you for advice. There you go. So things happen. When you're in Los Angeles, you know, things can happen.
We have one from Daniel Barker. He says, how does one become a box office draw? What are some things I can do to further my craft and or career while waiting for school? Right.
Here's what I would say to that. Just be an actor, be a working actor. Who knows what the magic is that makes a box office draw? I would be lying to you if I said, do this, that, and the other, and you'll be fine. I think you have to be a working actor. You get hired. I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I mean, I've been around a long time now, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I suppose. And I've known people who have become major stars. There's a lot of luck involved. I think you have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to be ready when that opportunity comes. Some people aren't. Some people don't realize that they've missed the opportunity. And other people are just open, and when they got their chance, they took it.
Dave, can I say something about that too? Just as as a green student coming out, you know, I mean, I graduated 2 years ago, but I would say also create your content. Do something to get eyes on you.
Yeah, Correct.
Because, you know, with the medium that we're in now, and I'm sure Alex and Henry can agree,
We do a lot.
David, also, it's the medium is more open now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
For people to get involved, and you can make your own content, and if you can just show a passion for what you're doing and continue to get better at your craft, I mean, like you said, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's what we will help you to do. And you can create your own content now, which is great. When I started out, we were still making stuff on film, and it was expensive and it was tough. But now you've got iPhones, you can make things. Yeah.
Also, in the sixth term of the program, there are two classes. One is called industry prep, where the instructors will teach you exactly how the industry works and how you can strategize to find your place in the industry. And then there's a class called Showcase. At the end of your 2-year experience at the school, you will perform for agents and managers. So we certainly do focus on the business side of things as well as creative.
And I think you're right, whoever asked that question, reach for the stars, but know that being an employed actor is a great way of earning a living. You don't have to be the star, but you can reach for the stars. And it takes time. And sometimes I've seen people build up, like someone like Jude Law, who's the same. He's actually got both Jude Law and me were both called David Law, but I changed my name to David Conolly because of equity, and he changed his name to Jude. He took my career, but they built his career up very carefully. You could see they would not let him play a lead for a good 5-10 years. And then they said, everybody was going, I want to see him play a lead in the film. They just pulled back that rubber band until they went, now. It was very interesting watching his career grow.
All right, we got about 3 more questions that came in. I'll start off with, I think it's Skytasia Whittington. She says, I know he mentioned before, I just need confirmation the May program will be online, or is it still pending?
We haven't had confirmation, right, from the local government. I'm guessing, and I'm presuming that we're going to be online to start off with. I've spoken to a lot of the current students, and they're all chomping at the bit to get in, and they're saying, please, as soon as we can get in, let us in. I think it's going to come down to the vaccination. The news at the moment is from the Biden administration and from Fauci is that we will all have access to the vaccination by the summer. If that happens, then maybe we can get in by the summer if we've all been vaccinated. But that's unfortunately what we're relying on right now.
Awesome. All right. And then we have an anonymous attendee. Can you get an agent or get into SAG-AFTRA / the union through the school? Or do y'all have any tips how to do so?
That's exactly where Alex has just been discussing, I think, with industry prep and the showcase. I think in your final term, the 6th term, that is literally like the showcase term. We are introducing you to agents. We invite agents on your behalf. We expect you to invite people, and we will give you the tools to go out there. We're not going to give you the SAG card, and we're probably not going to give you the agent, but we're going to give you the tools to get them.
All right. And we have Jax Malcolm again. He says, what does the typical class schedule look like?
That's a very good question. I think you have to accept this is a full-time course. It's a 9 till 5 course plus homework, right? I tell students if they get in, I want you to treat day 1 like the first day of your professional career. That you arrive at TOA expecting to be a full-time actor, and that you will be doing, and the first term is tough. Some of the people will go, whoa, the first term, it's got so many, I mean, they have got class after class after class with a lot of homework. The second term, as someone said to me yesterday, oh, you deceived us. There's not as many classes, but they have twice as much homework because they've got twice as many scenes to learn. So I think you have to accept that this is a full-time. It's not like doing a degree in, say, English literature and going, hey, look, I've got 3 lectures a week. No, this is every day that you have 9 to 5 classes. And I think in the evening, you've got to be prepared to be learning lines and doing homework. And homework can be like watching television. How hard is that?
All right. And the last question we have for right now is how do internships work when it comes to being in the school?
I think, do you mean the internships that we do for Jim Henson Company? Well, why didn't I answer that? What we do is that at the end of the 6th term, I suggest two people It's who it could be any of you. You might say, I want to do this, and you go and work at the Jim Henson Company. And what I'm talking to the current interns, and they work under the VP of production. So a lot of the job they're doing is like reading scripts, making notes on those scripts, coverage. Then decide it's quite an important job, because they're telling the VP of production, well, there's several people in between. They have to go to a meeting once every 2 weeks and go, I think you need to read this one, and this one. And that they can be turned into productions for Jim Henson. But like I said, that's further down the road. If you get through the conservatory and say, look, I want to go and be an intern for Jim Henson, it's a great way into the business. I can set that up for you at the school. And we're trying to do that with Universal as well. So the same thing, which will happen probably by the time you get here. We're 2 years out.
All right, we had another question pop up. Any tips how to balance work with the classes?
What was that? Sorry, Reese.
Any tips on how to balance work with the classes? I probably can answer that.
Yeah.
I would probably, the best advice I can give you is don't be opposed to working weekends, and find jobs that work in the that you could possibly work in the evenings, and find, you're in your class with the people that you're going to be with for the next 2 years. My advice would be to find roommates, just so you can balance, because it's expensive living out here in Los Angeles. But the thing is, when you have people that are doing the same thing you're doing, chasing the same dream you're chasing, it makes it a lot more sustainable and somewhat easier to manage working a job and also doing and chasing your acting dream. So that would be my best advice, is find jobs that work in the evenings. I did it for 2 years, so I definitely know it works.
Good answer. All right, is that it? Are we good to go? Should we let everyone go? Look, like I say, please go on the website, TOA.edu. I see someone has applied. Thank you for doing that. We're very excited. If you apply and you came to this open house, then there was going to be a scholarship for you. So just go on the website. There's a more information button, and there's an application button. It's very easy to apply. And we've waived the fees during COVID. It's normally $75 to apply for Theatre of Arts, but we've waived that during COVID. And as Norma said, it's 10% off while we are offering online classes. And thank you for joining, everybody.